Hey Luke, this is Coach Jacobs from Gonzaga University. What we're going to do here is we'll go ahead and watch this full video in full speed, and then I'll go back to the beginning and I'll start breaking it down pitch by pitch, kind of frame by frame in slow motion. That way we can kind of get an idea of what you're doing.
Luke. Secondary. Two balls. Two blocking their covers. Two forwards to second base. Let's spread down this little bit into one circle.
Alright, now we're going to go back to the beginning of the video here, and I'm gonna go ahead and break it down pitch by pitch. First of all, I thought you did a very good job at camp, and I think you're a good catcher right now. And I think with a few new ideas and a few new drills and tips, I think you can go from being a good catcher to a great catcher. So let's go ahead and look at the first pitch here.
Luke.
Okay, let's stop it there and let's take a look at that pitch. So, your trigger, you get out, then you don't have much of a trigger here. So basically what our trigger is, it's going to be a move with our wrist or our glove that kind of gets our arm loose. And the looser our arm is when we're about to receive, the quicker we're going to be able to move to the baseball. So for you kind of just get down and then you go straight up to the baseball. And I think that's what's going to do to you is right now your arm is probably pretty stiff because you're holding your glove up, you're holding it below your body, which is good. You're working below the zone, which is good. Your glove's below the zone. But I think right now your arm's tight, which is going to make you slower to react to the baseball. What we want is, when I say a trigger, it's maybe a slight wrist roll, maybe slightly bringing the glove down, something that's going to kind of loosen your arm up right before the pitch is delivered to help you be quick to the baseball. So if we go through this pitch now, you come up, the pitch is slightly below your glove, and you have to work back down to the baseball a little bit. So we're down below the zone, which is good. That's where we want the glove before the pitch is delivered. We want the glove below the zone. That way when the pitch is delivered, we can work up to the baseball. So you're down below the zone, and then your glove drifts up slightly, and then we come back down to the baseball. So let's take a look at one more pitch. Okay, same thing here. So you get your glove below the zone for here. So this time you go down to the ground, which I like as a trigger. So you get down to the ground. So that's going to relax your arm. And I think that's something that you should probably do every single time. Something to relax your arm. So you get your arm relaxed. You come up. And then same thing. You float slightly above the baseball. And then after the catch, watch your glove and arm. Catch it. And everything gets pulled slightly back down. What this is going to do, it's a very subtle movement, but if you're an umpire, this is what you're watching for. When you catch it, and then your glove works down, what's that going to show the umpire? It's going to show the umpire that you had to go down to catch the pitch. So if that's at the very bottom of the zone, let's draw a line here. Let's say this is the bottom of the zone. So with that pitch there, if you're catching it above the zone and then your glove's working down, maybe close to below the zone, what that's telling the umpire is you had to go down to catch the baseball, which then in return could get him to call that pitch a ball, even if it was a strike. We'd even want a pitch down below the zone. We want these pitches down here to be called strikes. If we can get our glove down where you had it, and then we're receiving these back on the way up, we're going to have a chance to get those as strikes because from the umpire's perspective, you went up to catch the baseball. With this pitch right here, you work down, and then you work up, and then you have to come back down, which is what we don't want. We want to be able to work from right here and then go directly to the baseball on the way up and give the umpire a very good look at it. So let's move on to the next pitch here.
Secondary.
That one was better. We got down, we got a good trigger, but as you can see, your glove still slightly floats above the baseball, and then after we receive it, our glove kind of works down a little bit. So you can see after you catch it, you kind of try to bring it back up. So instead of having to go down and then back up, what we would want is to be able to go from down and just one motion up into the zone. So as we're receiving it, maybe right around here, we kind of keep bringing it up slightly, and then we're in the zone all in one motion. So to the umpire, it looks like a really good pitch, even if it might have been maybe a borderline ball low.
Secondary.
Moving to our secondary now. Looks like you do a really good job, actually, you moved into your secondary, and although you went from a one-knee stance to a two-leg stance, your target still stays nice and low. So that's what we want right there. You can tell your arm right here is resting on your leg, which is going to kind of relax. It's going to relax your whole arm and make you a little bit quicker to the baseball. So your arm's relaxed on your leg, and then we come up right to the baseball. So that one right there is a pretty good job of just coming up right to the baseball. The problem is I think your glove is reacting up a little bit early. What I mean by that is your glove starts to come up before the pitch is delivered. So if our glove comes up slightly before the pitch is delivered, what tends to happen is we float up too high, and then a ball that is, so this is the bottom of the zone, so we float up, and then a ball that ends up being low, we have to come back down and catch. Other than if we were, there's the bottom of the zone, if we were where you are right now, and then we could just come right up to that, one move would be perfect. So if your glove's right there, what we would want is, so what we would want here is this glove working straight from this point up, catch. So that would be how much later we would want to react. We're down, up, catch, the ball's there, versus the ball's still in flight and you're still floating up a little bit, which is going to kind of get you above the baseball. See, you just kind of just work above it a little bit. Okay, we're going to get into the blocks now. So as we go into this first block here, you did a pretty good job with the blocks. I thought you did a good job of blocking. I thought you did a good job of receiving too. I think a couple of the things that we talked about in here are going to be things that are going to be you getting enough reps to break the old habits, kind of try to create those new habits. And it's all about the reps, man. If you can get enough of those reps every day of doing it correctly, it's going to become muscle memory for you, and it's going to become a lot easier. So as we work into these blocks, it's kind of the same deal. It's going to be getting a lot of reps. So you get down. First thing I noticed is your knees actually come down to the ground before your glove. So when we talk about blocking, what we usually talk about is the glove leads the body. So the glove should always be the first thing down. The glove should get down, and then the knees should follow. The reason for this is that if this was a spiked fastball, it would have a little area that it could sneak under right there. So as we progress through this block, you can see your glove just slightly come up. And that's what we want to kind of try to get away from. When our glove comes up, we leave ourselves susceptible to a pass ball right there. And I think sometimes we get into a bad habit of this on turf because we know the ball is going to bounce. But when we get into a natural surface or a natural playing field, when we make that move up, the ball could very easily sneak under our glove. Let's get into this next block here. So, let's see. Knees, same thing. The knees get down slightly before the glove, and the glove comes up a little bit. Other than the glove coming up, I thought you did a pretty good job of blocking. Your arms are back where they need to be. Your glove's tucked in pretty tight. Just needs to block this part of your body. The other thing I kind of notice here in this frame is that your head is still slightly up, so your chin isn't all the way tucked. What we want is that chin to be all the way tucked down to your chest. Not only is that going to protect you, but it's also going to help you keep your eyes on the baseball, and it'll kind of keep you from getting away from the balls that hit you, and then you jump up and you don't know where the ball is. If we can tuck that chin and do a really good job of watching that ball all the way in and seeing exactly where it goes, it's going to help us out a lot in recovering the baseball as quickly as possible and minimizing those extra bases.
Keep blocking your covers.
Block, cover, nice hop there. That one you could really see the glove come up as you were going to block that. See how much room is it right there under the glove for the ball to sneak under? So what we like to tell our catchers is once the ball hits the ground, we're not trying to catch the ball with our glove, we're trying to catch the ball with our pads. So if we can really take that to heart and really not try to catch the ball with our glove once the ball hits the ground. Because as soon as we try to catch the ball with our glove, when the ball's hitting the ground, we come up with our glove, and then we leave, like I said, this window open right there.
People work to second base. Spread out this way,
Let's take a look at this next one. Okay, so let's go back to that. Go back to the first one, actually. Oh, look at this one. So we go to receive. First thing I notice is that left knee starts caving this way a little bit, which is actually what we want to do. So as that left foot, or that left knee caves that way, it's going to kind of get our body lined up in the right direction right away. That was a tough pitch because it was lower, so you had to come up. But the one thing you can kind of see is you go from here to there. So you come up a good 1.5 feet, which we would ideally want to see you stay a little bit lower. And so what's going to happen here, when we come up, and here's your throwing position, what's going to happen is we're going to get out of our legs a little bit. So your legs end up straightening out a little bit versus being lower and in your legs. So what we would want, and the way I kind of like to explain it, is getting from receiving the ball into a defensive basketball position. So if we think about a defensive basketball position, we're low, we're in our legs, and we're athletic. We're able to move left to right very easily. And it really correlates to baseball, because if we can get ourselves into that position as a thrower, we're going to really be able to drive into our legs. Once our legs kind of straighten out early, we're not going to have much to drive into, and we're not going to have much behind our throws. So when it comes to the transferring, you're doing a really good job. Your feet are lined up right towards second base, which is what we want. But I think you need to get into your legs a little bit more. That way, also, I think maybe widening them out a little bit as you get into your throwing position could help. And that's going to help you kind of get a little bit more behind your throws and get a little bit more athletic when it comes to transferring the baseball. The good news about all of this, I think you did a really good job. I'm obviously nitpicking a little bit here, but all this stuff is stuff that you're going to be able to work on your own. You're going to be able to take a ball and go off of a wall, and you can work on your receiving, your blocking, and your transferring. So if you can kind of challenge yourself to take 5 to 10 minutes out of each and every one of your days and maybe work on all these things that we've talked about here, you're going to become a lot better catcher very fast. Because like I said, it's going to be all about the reps you put in. If you can kind of put in 5 to 10 minutes of reps of receiving, blocking, and transferring every day, it's going to be very helpful for you, man. So that's all I got. Good luck to you this year. Hopefully I'll get a chance to watch you this spring or summer play some more. And I hope I see you at another Zags camp in the future. Thank you.